welcome to the Tack podcast. My name is Kevin Nelson, and it is my honor to be your host. In today's episode, you're going to hear a conversation that I had with Mr. Dean Hancock. Dean is the owner-president of Fleet Collision Solutions. He does consulting work with for PPG now for heavy-duty truck repair facilities. Mostly with independent heavy-duty truck repair facilities. Dean is in this episode. You're going to hear him talk about his history, how he came into the business, like most of our independent shop owners. Started out cleaning the floors and worked his way up through a automotive repair facility, and then ended up in a shop that was doing heavy truck repair. Ended up buying the business, and then had it for 14 years and sold it to Gerber. Then moved full-time into this consulting role. And anyway, great conversation, great information about estimating about what's in front of the heavy-duty truck repairers in the future, what they miss and most often in writing estimates, what estimating systems are best, what management systems communicate best with those heavy-duty truck estimating systems. So information that we get asked questions about that we hope that you'll find useful. Enjoy this episode. Well, welcome to the Tack podcast, Dean. I hope this finds you well. How's your day started?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm fantastic. So to give our audience a better understanding, let's go back in time. Who is Dean Hancock?
I have spent a little time in the collision industry, about 38 years. Started out as cleaning up the shop and working my way up to a painter's helper. And I was a painter for about 10 years. And a local jobber wanted me to come to work for them. And spent 3 years with them, and they were bought out by a consolidator. Later went to work for Sherwin-Williams for about 9 years, and oddly enough went back to a shop that I had worked at in the 80s as a painter, and the gentleman wanted to retire, so I ended up buying him out.
All right, hang on. You've like gathered us a lot right there. Let me ask a couple of questions in there.
Okay.
You started out in a shop. Was this an automotive repair shop?
Correct.
Cleaning and working your way through, and was basically learned the hard way, hands-on, right, of how to paint and how to fix a car.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Now we're back to where you now have bought a shop.
Yes, so I bought the gentleman out and owned it for 14 years, and we did automotive and trucks, but we were primarily a truck shop. And
that's unusual in the marketplace today, right? I mean, just space and size of the booth is different. Everything is different. So how did it work back then where you had automotive and fleet?
Well, we could put an automobile in a truck booth, but we couldn't put a truck in a car booth. So all our booths were truck booths.
Perfect.
And we kind of separated it. We had one end of the shop was designated for cars and had designated estimators for cars, and vice versa for trucks.
All right. So what was the time frame that you had bought the business?
I bought the business in 2004.
And you owned it for 14 years? Did I hear you say that?
Correct. Yes. And
did you ever transition away from automotive to only heavy duty truck?
We started transitioning that way toward the end. We did a lot of DRP work on the automotive side. And we got to where we just decided that, the trucks was our thing. We're set up to do trucks. So we started phasing out the automobiles.
Now, I got to ask a question then. Did you see the writing on the wall with the automotive as far as the insurance was concerned? Was there more profit available to you in a heavy duty truck versus automotive as far as gross margin? Or was it just you, it's where you were more comfortable at in repairing, in the repair process?
Both, because it didn't take long to realize that, hey, we make a lot more money off of doing trucks than we do cars. And the shop was more set up to do trucks.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So 14 years you're there. What transpired then?
I was actually doing a class at the HD Repair Forum, and I had a gentleman approach me and asked me if I'd ever thought about selling. And he was with Gerber, and jokingly I said every day. So that Monday I get a phone call that says, "Hey, I was serious." And it wasn't long after that we closed the deal, and we became Gerber. And after my contract was up, I decided that I would go home and got back into facilitating classes and doing some consulting. So here I am at Fleet Collision Solutions.
So you sold the business to Gerber, and quite honestly, we here at NCS SSI, we service a whole bunch of Gerbers. And when somebody told me that Gerber owned a truck shop, I was like, no, they don't. But they own more than one, don't they? How many heavy duty truck collision centers does Gerber own?
At one time, they had 14. A lot of them were through acquisitions of car shops that already had a truck shop. I think now they have 8 truck shops.
Gotcha.
Now, but some of them are really small.
All right. So let me ask this, Dean. You sold the business, which is, I mean, that's fantastic. What led you back into consulting?
I really enjoyed facilitating classes. I had done some for Exalta for about 5 or 6 years, and I really enjoyed it and meeting the folks that are at these classes. So PPG, I saw them at the HD Repair Forum, and they asked me, "Hey, what are you doing now?" And at the time, I was actually helping Mike Anderson some at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, because Mike does handle the Exalta. I don't want to call them 20 groups, but the heavy duty truck symposium, I guess is what they would call it, where they bring all of their heavy duty truck customers in to compare notes and. Right.
Mike did do the business council group for Exalta, but now it's Ron Keelan.
Okay.
Mike stepped away from the truck side. Mike, you know how hard it is to get Mike Anderson. He's under such demand.
So busy, it's unbelievable.
Oh, yes. And so he decided that, he would just concentrate on cars. And Ron Keelan is now the facilitator of that business council group.
So PPG approaches you at a heavy duty forum, truck repair forum meeting. And so are you now aligned with PPG to support their heavy duty truck business?
I am. Yes, I'm doing we will have an advanced class probably mid-year. Right now we have a fundamentals class that I'm doing, and I'm also doing some consulting for PPG's truck shop.
Now, when you talk about advanced or fundamentals, you're talking about estimating, right?
Correct. I'm sorry. Yes.
No, that's fine. How different is estimating in the heavy duty truck world versus the automotive world?
Well, it's a big difference. For one, on the truck side, most of those trucks are ordered the way the person wants them. So there's a lot of differences between from truck to truck to truck. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of the estimating softwares are inadequate and having everything that's on the truck. The other thing is there's no parts pricing. You have to call and get a quote from your local dealer. And the biggest reason for that is the heavy duty trucks were not part of the Right to Repair Act that the automotive was on.
Gotcha. I got you.
The other side of it is, there's not a lot of insurance companies out there or direct repair programs for the truck side. So you're doing a lot of fleet work with people that are self-insured. So there's a lot of off-site estimating you have to go do.
I gotcha. So, and in your consulting life now, working with independent heavy duty truck repair facilities and or working with MSO truck repair facilities or dealership truck repair facilities, what do you see as what are the top three things that estimators are missing in the heavy duty truck world when they're writing an estimate?
ADAS has become a big deal on trucks now. And let's face it, the truck world has been behind the car world for a long time.
Mm.
I'd say the biggest thing that I see missed on these trucks is seatbelts, the replacement or at least a seatbelt inspection, calibration of the radars, lane deterrents, and forward-facing cameras. And I think lastly would probably be the hardware that's involved on the repair, such as rivets.
I got you. Now, gosh, I could go so many different directions here because you made my brain go crazy. ADAS on a heavy duty truck. What is the year? Is it 2025 that they're gonna have mandatory lane depart or whatever they call it? There's going to be specifics that are required on every new truck, right? What are the things that are going to be required?
Well, lane deterrents, the front radar, and airbags. Volvo already has airbags.
So I know in the automotive world, calibration of ADAS systems is, well, it's very hit or miss in my opinion. I don't think there's anybody that's doing it and doing it well. What equipment is required for a shop to be able to recalibrate a heavy duty truck, a Peterbilt, a freight?
Yeah, it's nothing like for the car world. I mean, you can have to do a static calibration on the front radar. You basically need a level and an angle finder. And that's it to do the static, because these are not made by each individual manufacturer. They're made by mostly you see Bendix, and then of course you got to do the road test to do the final calibration for the forward-facing radar, and the same thing for the lane deterrents.
Gotcha. So they can do all of that themselves. It's just they're missing writing it on the estimate to get paid for doing it.
Correct.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned estimating software and systems. I think everybody that'll be listening to this podcast knows that PPG owns AdjustRight.
Correct.
Which system? I mean, to me, it looks pretty cut and dry. AdjustRight, of all of the systems that are out there, it is the best. I don't want to say it's the most complete, but it's the best that's available, right?
I agree. I think it's the best that's available. You don't have about 3 or 4 options out there. So in my opinion, AdjustRight is the best.
And let me ask this question because I've been asked the question recently by an independent heavy duty truck repair about they're wanting to move to an estimate, and not just an estimating system, but a management system. Which management system do you see that's out there that you would say that's the best one for a heavy duty truck repair facility?
I like Summit. I think when it EMSs from AdjustRight to a management system, I think Summit, it goes in easier. It goes in pretty well with CCC, But the biggest issue I see with CCC is adjust right is king. You cannot go in and make an adjustment to the estimate in CCC. You have to go back into adjust right and bring it in again.
Reload it into your estimate or your.
Correct. So, if you had a one-line supplement, it's almost as easy to type it in adjust right and type it in Summit and be done with it.
Gotcha. So how many in your travels, how many heavy duty repair facilities are utilizing an estimating software now?
It's growing. It's getting more and more. I can remember when I first started, there was still a lot of folks that were handwriting on a sheet of paper.
Sure.
So, with Adjust Right and Mitchell, I would say majority of the folks are using some sort of software.
Now, are you seeing, is that because the insurance companies, if companies are covered and they're not self-insured, are they requiring an electronic estimate now?
I think they're realizing it's a lot easier to use electronic estimate to email it or to either the customer or the insurance company.
Gotcha. And equally, what number of shops of heavy duty repair facilities are you seeing utilizing a management system to manage their overall business?
I think that's a growing market for the management systems as well. On the truck side of it, a lot of these dealerships are using what's it called? LKD or something like that. Using whatever the system that the dealership uses. On the independent side, I'm seeing more and more folks going to a management system.
Well, I mean, if you're not measuring it, you
can't fix it.
Right? I mean, the bottom line, if you don't know where the money's going, you can't stop the leak, that's for sure. Right?
I think there's a lot more benefits to that too. We owned our shop. We used Summit for a long time, and we were able to track things like, why did we have returns on parts? So I could go to my dealer and say, hey, look, this is costing you money. This is costing me money. Here's what I spent with you for the year, and here's what I sent back and why. So it resulted in a lot of these manufacturers allowing me to look up my own part numbers. And that return on parts went to almost zero.
Well, yeah, because who better to look it up than the one that's looking at the truck, right?
Right.
Because now, as you said earlier, these trucks are built individually almost, right? I mean,
right.
Now, if you're talking to a parts guy that can't see it, you're trying to describe it, there's gonna be mistakes, right?
And the other side of that is it's a language barrier between us, because what I might call a bracket, he calls a gusset, and the software calls a support. So you get into a battery box situation where you got all three of those. He's sending you the support, you wanted a gusset. So
or you say, I don't know, send everything.
Right.
Then you do have returns, right?
Right.
Unbelievable. All right. So in your consulting practice now, you're aligned with PPG for these beginner and advanced estimating classes. Are those posted on PPG's website? How, if somebody's interested in attending one of your classes, how do they?
They are. They can go to ppgmvp.com and they can get the schedule for the classes, or they can get in touch with the local PPG rep.
Or get with a local PPG rep. Okay, got it. And if there is an opportunity or someone has a customer that's saying, I need help way beyond estimating, does your company, Fleet Collision Solutions, Is that still have to go through PPG, or can you contract those consulting gigs like that individually?
I can consult those individually as long as they're a PPG customer.
So you are tied to PPG users even in the consulting work.
Correct.
All right. And do you have a website?
I do not.
Okay. And is there a phone number if somebody has a PPG customer that needs or wants consulting services that they
Absolutely.
reach out to you?
Yes, sir. I'll give you my number. It's 803-518-7148.
That's 803-518-7148.
That's correct.
Perfect. Well, Dean, man, I really appreciate you taking time to jump on here with us. I think it's been informative, and I appreciate what you're doing to help our industry, because if they can repair them and make more money, we hope they buy paint from us.
That's right.